So this one action figure definitely just made my list to stir up trouble on my Ghostbusters shelf by other wrestlers. Hey toy fans, I'm here with another one of our vintage opens. Now, this one is not as quite as old as some of my other vintage toys have been, most of those coming from the 80s and 90s, but this was one that is pretty much out of print. You cannot find these anywhere unless you hit up a toy shop and find it there. Now, this is a part of Mattel's WW Monsters sets, and I had come across him, Ashka, as a Japanese ghoul, and the Snake Man, Jake the Snake, as a Snake Man. But out of those, I really liked Chris Jericho, and I've had him on card for a while now, and really feel like I should take him off and maybe get him with my Ghostbusters, because I think he's pretty much sized up with them. Now, on this card, of course, you get the Chris Jericho up here, so we see that's Jericho, and then we get these nice sculpted and slash marks on the outside of the packaging here, and it's got a nice, kind of look to it. It makes you definitely feel like Monster. There's a sticky spot that had a clearance sticker on it. Now, you got this beautiful card art here that says WW Monsters. There's a picture of Jericho there in the classic mummy kind of stance with his arms out, and then kind of a graveyard scene behind it. Pretty cool, and he looks great on Bubble. But you know what? I'm ready to take this one out. Going to the back. Of course, you get the Monsters, Chris Jericho. You get a signature up here. You get to see that card art here along with the tomb. Pretty cool. Also in the line, you had Ashka, Roman Reigns, that's the werewolf, Jake the Snake Roberts, Strowman there, Undertaker, and he was a vampire, put together like Frankenstein-style monster, Snake Man, werewolf, and Japanese ghoul. My kiddo has this one. He loves this figure, and both he and I both have Jake the Snake Roberts. I just have not reviewed him yet. Now, these originally came out in 2017, so again, they're not like it's that old, but at this standard right now, it's about 5 years. Can't find them anywhere. I'm ready to get this one out and get to scaring. And of course, this is our mummified Chris Jericho out of package. I absolutely love it. I think it looks really, really cool. He has his signature yellow here, along with some nice printing for Jericho on each one of the boots. We get another repeat of Jericho in the trunks. And then we've got, of course, the mummy style, like Egyptian shoulder, like ornate shoulder piece that goes up here. What I think is cool about this is it's got a few like loose parts that are glued in place, but it feels like wraps, and there's like actual detailing on the wraps themselves that show like different names and such. I think it looks great. Now, this figure, as far as articulation, you've got that ball joint on the head. You've got a swivel waist, swivel hips. You got hinged knees, but their knees are really heavily hindered by the knee pads here. You got the rocker ankles here. And then the arms actually have probably the most articulation. You've got that ball hinge shoulder. You got the bicep cut. You got the hinged elbow. And then you have the wrist that rocks in and out and swivels as well. And that's the same on both arms. And, as far as up here, nothing is hindered as far as like articulation. Most of what's hindered is really going to be down here in the knees, because you're just not going to get a lot of, movement out of those knees with these things on there. Now, he does come with his list of Jericho, and it's a nice little detailed piece. You've got some other inscriptions on the back. Can't really, I can't make these out. It looks like just kind of made up language, but I guess it's supposed to be kind of like the Egyptian hieroglyphs in a way, even though they are definitely not. But other than that, it's such a cool, and now I love the Mummy, so let me just get that straight. So recently when Disney put out their Under Wraps, I think it was Under Wraps 2, the hotel is actually called the Karloff Hotel, And it made me chuckle because as a kid, The Mummy, the movie, was one of my favorite movies to come out. Like, I loved that one out of Universal Monsters. So to have Chris Jericho in as the Mummy, it really makes me smile. And they did a great job, you know, kind of weathering the skin, making it kind of almost like blue, like he's been, you know, put in a box and dried out in order to get this weathered look. He looks great. The wraps look great. There's a nice wash across these wraps. I really dig this figure a lot. And then he's got kind of a gold accent for the eyes. One thing I did miss, there is actually a boot cut as well. So his boots can go out that way. Now I was going to size him up with the Ghostbuster run of the figures, because they're all pretty much the same height. The Rock's a little bit taller than Chris Jericho. Stone Cold also a little bit taller than Chris Jericho. John Cena a little bit shorter. So they've got these nice heights as far as like each figure themselves. So I love that we've got the monsters and we got Ghostbusters. And for me personally, I think I'm gonna display these all together. You know, I did kind of wonder, because I know I got Steve Austin and his fatigues there. I kind of wondered if he could wear his vest to see like kind of body type, because they articulation wise they're fairly close. I believe the Ghostbusters have a little bit more articulation in their hips than this one does. But yeah, look at that. So technically this would be the same almost body type as these figures here, because I mean, if you look, they've got a lot of the same articulation. And he can wear the Austin vest if you want him to. So if I wanted to put him up as maybe a Ghostbuster or have him wear a Proton Pack, I could probably do that as well. It's cool because now, like, when I play with the Ghostbusters into this, now I've got a mummy that can raise up from the dead, and it's all still related as far as wrestling, which makes it really cool. It's gonna have to make me get, you know, the snake, Jake the Snake Roberts out now and get him in this collection. All in all, I am super stoked to have this figure in my line. And again, I know I've got a whole Ghostbuster bin open up. Jericho is going up there with them. I really feel like he fits. He looks the part. He looks awesome. I like having this figure in my collection. And it was one of those that I kind of debated forever whether I want to open the packaging or not, because the figure in the package looks phenomenal too. But I am so glad I was able to open it kind of this Halloween season and share it with you all, because to me, being a Mummy fan and liking the monsters and the WW Monsters quite a bit, this feels like a special treat from me to you. And you getting to watch this feels like a special treat for me, because now I get to open something I've been looking forward to for years now. Now that's all I gotta say about Chris Jericho. I'm loving this figure. Looks great. Remember, they're not dolls. In this case, they are action figures, and wrestling monster action figures at that. When I'm not recording videos here on YouTube, I'm actually over on a podcast on marvindogmedia.com called Talking Toys with Taylor and Jeff. It's a really cool toy podcast. Be sure to check it out. Also, I need your help getting my YouTube channel to grow. Be sure to subscribe down below with that big red button. Hit that bell for notifications so you can be alerted of anything that comes from me to you. Like this video, it helps YouTube know that you like what I'm making, and comment down below. I like chatting with you all.